So you're going to put on your imaginary chef's hat. And we are making a very healthy meal today. We're making a 3-fruit salad. And this is the activity you'll see in Seesaw a little later. I'm just going to go over it with you now so that you're prepared. So we're making this delicious 3-fruit salad. The school cook asked you to create recipes for it, but the school cook says you have to follow these rules. Rule number 1, each recipe must use exactly 3 different fruits. And rule number 2, the combined weight of the fruit for one recipe must be exactly 5 pounds. Very precise. It says exactly. It doesn't say about, it says exactly 5 pounds. Now, we look at the typical weights of the different type of fruits. And that's going to help us with this second rule. So we know pears usually weigh 3/8, grapes usually weigh 2/8, oranges usually weigh 6/8, strawberries usually weigh 5/8, and apples usually weigh 4/8. And all of those have the unit in pounds. Okay, I just forgot to read the units, but all those were pounds. So what do you notice all of these? You can raise a hand for this one. What do you notice all of these typical weights have in common? There is one big similarity, and I'd love if you could use math vocabulary to describe the similarity. Claire?
The denominator of all of them.
Excellent. Good noticing. Now, and good math vocabulary with saying denominator. Look back at rule number 2, the combined weight of the fruit for one recipe must be exactly 5 pounds. Where did I put that? Remember what we just found, that 5 pounds in terms of eighths is 48. So I'm going to make myself a note, and you should make this note on like scrap paper you have it, or you could write it next to where you wrote 48 already in your math journal. You're going to make yourself a note that when it's saying exactly 5 pounds, another way to say that is as 48, because that's really going to help you to find your solution. So eventually you will be making up, I added the words at least 2 recipes. In Seesaw, it just says 2 recipes. If you want to make more than 2 recipes, you are welcome to do that. I would be going above and beyond. But I want, as the directions say, 2 recipes that follow the rules, show that each recipe weighs 5 pounds by using tools such as fraction circles, fraction number lines, drawings, or number models. Use multiplication when possible, because as you know, these past few days we've been practicing fraction multiplication and mixed number multiplication. So this problem is going to let you put those skills to the test. Now, I, just for fun and to make sure we understand your mission as the chefs for the school kitchen, to make sure you understand your mission, I'm going to show you 2 non-examples. So I broke the rules here, so I'm not giving away the answer, but we're going to discuss how I broke the rules and why I couldn't submit these recipes, or my school chef would tell me, shoo, go back to the kitchen. You're not done. You got to keep working. Okay, so here's my examples. Let's say I had these recipes. Oh, I'm going to write my rules at the top because I don't want to forget them. Rule number 1 was 3 different fruits. And do you remember rule number 2? Type it in the comments. You don't have to have the precise wordings. But what was rule number 2 to sum it up? Rule number 2 was that had to be, good, that's what I'm writing, has to be exactly 5 pounds. So I'm going to keep those rules in the back of my head. And now let's look at my examples. So if I said, oh, I know, chef, here's what you could do. Do 3 medium pears, 1 cup of grapes, and 1 pint of strawberries. So let's go back to my rules. Rule number 1, exactly three different fruits. Does this recipe have exactly three different fruits? Pears, grapes, strawberries. Yep. Check. Well, Delina, we haven't checked for rule number 2. So I'm going to go ahead and try to check rule number 2 now. I know I have pears, so I'm going to look at the weight of pears, which was 3/8 of a pound. I have grapes. I'm going to look at the weight of grapes, which was 2/8 of a pound. And I'm saying strawberries. So my strawberries were 5/8 of a pound. Now, one thing to notice, you might be saying, oh, Mrs. George, 2/8, why don't we write that as 1/4? Well, you're going to see on this problem, you actually don't want to reduce because it's going to be easier if we're working in all eighths. That's going to help you really quickly spot when you get to the 48th target we're looking for. So, who could help me come up with a multiplication that would show how much 3 pears weigh? Who could help me? Raise a hand if you have that multiplication equation to find the weights of 3 pears. Because I want to see if these together will weigh 5 pounds. Weights of 3 pears. Let's try to spread it around a little bit. Oh, Alina, I need to see your screen, please. Let's go with Libby again. Oh, you didn't have your hand up, but I want you to do it anyway. Okay, Libby, so unmute. Just the pears. How would you do them?
Wait, are we talking about the...
How much does 3 medium pears weigh if each of them weighs 3/8? And remember, use multiplication when you can.
So 3/8 times 3.
Beautiful. Okay.
Equals 9. Plus 9 equals 9/8.
Good. We're going to leave it like that. We're actually going to leave it because we know like eighths are going to be helpful to us later. Okay. Libby did pears. Now let's have Sana do... Oh, actually, this one's not that challenging. 1 cup of grapes with each is 2/8. Still, if I did set up a multiplication equation, Sana, can you tell us what it would be? It's kind of a simple one.
So...
Because there's only 1 cup of grapes.
Oh, 2/8 times 1.
Yep, which we know is just 2/8. And then for the pint of strawberries, we'll repeat Sana's pattern. There's only 1 pint of strawberries, so it's going to be 1 times 5/8, which is, everybody, you can mouth the words, 5/8. Right, that was a pretty easy one. So just remember, though, if you are multiplying something like Libby did, she multiplied the numerator by the whole number, but kept the denominator the same, okay? That'll be a good trick. Now, let's do our next step. I want to switch my pen color. How would I find out how much this recipe weighed in all? How much this recipe weighed in all? Elena, can you help us with that, please? Unmute.
Okay, there. So this recipe in all would weigh 16/8.
How'd you get that?
I got it by doing 2 plus 5 to get 7, and then I knew that 9 plus 7 is 16.
Excellent. So you had 16 total eighths of a pound.
Yeah.
Good.
Or
So
just 2.
Equals 2 pounds. So is that 5 pounds? No.
No.
And up here, Alina could have realized too that's not 5 pounds because remember our target, we wanted 40/8, and this is only 16/8. So that's clearly not enough of each of the ingredients. We would have to increase our amount. So did it follow rule number 2? It was not exactly 5 pounds. It was only 2 pounds, in fact. Okay, I know, Delina, we're going to go a little over. So then next we had 8 pints of strawberries. So if I wanted to see if this one followed my rules, rule number 1, does this recipe use exactly 3 different fruits? 8 pints of strawberries. Are there 3 different fruits here? It's only strawberries. That's 1 fruit. That's not 3 different fruits. So already we see this doesn't follow my rules, but just for fun, let's check if this recipe would weigh exactly 5 pounds. I'm going to look up at strawberries. They weigh 5/8 of a pound for each pint. So now if I wanted to figure out the weight of my strawberries, I would take 8 pints times 5/8 for each pint, and I'd get 40/8. Ding, 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 ding. That was our target. We know that's exactly 5 pounds. So this one follows rule number 2, but it doesn't follow rule number 1. So it's still, the chef's going to say, go back to the kitchen. You're not done. Find some more recipes. But it followed one of the rules. So now with those non-examples, hopefully you'll feel a little better as you go find some real examples for how we could solve this problem. The seesaw assignment